and welcome to Hospice Intelligence. I am Dr. Brian Haas, the founder of Hospice Intelligence and also a hospice medical director myself. I'm so pleased that your agency has chosen to use Hospice Intelligence to support the frontline nurse by making documentation easier, improving your compliance, and streamlining your charting to LCD criteria. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to access the application by going to hospiceintelligence.com, and you're able to click on the login screen, which is right here. So we're going to go ahead and click on that screen, and that brings us to our login account. You can also save this URL, which is app.hospiceintelligence.com, and then we're going to go ahead and sign in. You're going to enter your email address as your username, and then in the same email that you received with the YouTube link, you should also have received your password. For now, passwords can't be reset automatically, so if you need assistance, you're going to need to contact Carissa at wellspringhealthcare.org, and she'll help you get up and running quickly. Now, after signing in, you're going to end up landing on the main page here. And this is where you will build and store your notes, whether they be admissions, recertification, or even temporary notes as you're going through in IDT and trying to determine if someone is still eligible for hospice benefits. Now, since this platform is EMR agnostic, it doesn't yet integrate directly with your EMR, but you can still draft, refine, and revise your notes here while continuously checking against LCD criteria. Now that we are in our home main screen, you can see here a couple of key features. We have our Hospice Intelligence application moniker at the top here. We have our new chat buttons. We have a couple of places where there's a new chat, so you can get to it in a number of different ways. And so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to go ahead and put in my patient's name. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do John Doe number 2. Because we've already done one before from some previous testing, and I'm going to go ahead and choose a diagnosis, and in this situation I'm going to use ALS. Now there's a number of different ways that you can enter information into this Hospice Intelligence system so that it can go ahead and check your note against the LCD criteria. The first thing that you can do is you can do a bulleted system like I'm showing here. Now, some nurses find that this is a very fast and effective way for them to be able to quickly parse through their EMR system and find what has changed over the course of the past 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, or even 8 or 12 weeks. And it allows them to put those informations in relatively quickly. Then they're going to go ahead and click the Evaluate the Note button. And this is what allows the Hospice Intelligence to run its artificial intelligence magic. So very quickly you can see that it was able to read through this process and found that there was dyspnea at rest, reduced speech and vocal volume, dysphagia, weight loss, and PPS. Now, that being said, it still didn't hit a large percentage of our LCD criteria. We do have a number of them over here. And so it told us that we should be questioning our eligibility. It didn't mean that it's wrong, right? But we want to make sure that there's opportunity that is present. And we might want to go through and look through some of these other aspects. So for instance, orthopnea. I would imagine that this patient is struggling with their ability to breathe when sitting upright. And so when they try and lay down, it's going to be substantially worse. And so we can go ahead and add in here, breathing is much worse when laying down, and the patient prefers at least 3 pillows to support their back. Then we can say, I imagine they're breathing faster than 20 breaths per minute, often with talking or simply sitting in bed. Patient has a rapid respiratory rate of more than 25 breaths per minute. And we can continue to go through this list and seeing if this triggers any extra ideas that we may have in regards to beefing up that LCD criteria. So now we're going to go ahead and click this final button down here, which is to rewrite our note. So this is where the actual magic of Hospice Intelligence comes into play, is that it takes the initial note that we have here, that we entered above, and then it takes the additional information that we have, and then it puts it into this beautiful, well-written progress note that you're able to then copy and paste using the copy button here and pushing that directly over into your EMR. Now, it's broken this up into specific paragraphs to make it easier. Should your chart be audited, it makes it easier for the auditor to be able to read through the note so that it can find those specific aspects that it's looking for, and it's using those key criterias of hospice language, including, as we stated above, the orthopnea, impaired vital capacities, etc. So now after we have done note number 1, we're going to go ahead and click a new chat here at the very top, or any of the other places in terms of new conversation, or even right here under the Hospice Intelligence moniker as well. And so again, we're going to go ahead and put now Jane Doe number 2 as our name of our patient. We're going to go ahead and select heart disease. I can write this directly into the Hospice Intelligence application right here. And we're going to go ahead and click, again, Evaluate Note. This again allows the Hospice Intelligence to go through into its process. Now you can see here that this needs more information has changed because we've selected a greater number of the LCD criteria. And so again, this doesn't mean that this patient isn't an appropriate candidate or an appropriate patient, but it just wants you to think about this note. And it is prompting you to go through these additional LCD criteria to see if this patient also has some of these things. So for instance, dependency in 3 or more ADLs. I would imagine that most of our patients that have heart failure are dependent on more than 3 ADLs. So we're going to go ahead and select patient has dependency on 5 out of 6 ADLs. And maybe that's the only other one that we have at this time. So we're going to go ahead and have the AI rewrite the note. And again, it's going to take that note and it's going to rewrite it for us, incorporating all of the information that we initially gave it, plus the additional information that we added. And in just a few short moments, it pops up another note. This again allows us the opportunity to click copy and then to pull that into our EMR. That way we have a clear, concise, cleanly written certification of terminal illness progress note and or a admission note that allows you to be able to clearly and concisely convey your point. Now you can see over here on the left-hand column that as I've been creating new notes, I have the opportunity to come back to these notes and reevaluate what they were before. And so that, again, I just came back to this other previous note and then the heart failure note again, coming back to what we missed, what we needed, and therefore we can move forward. You'll also be receiving weekly documentation tips and regular updates as our program goes. We're excited to provide this tool to ease your documentation burden, lower stress, and support accurate hospice certifications and recertifications. You'll also receive weekly documentation tips and regular updates as this program continues to grow and develop and change over time. If you ever need help, reach out to Carissa at wellspringhealthcare.org, and remember, you can always log in at hospiceintelligence.com. Thank you again, and we're excited you're with us.